As of writing this, the Mario movie is right on the horizon. It's kind of mind-blowing in a way, especially considering how really good it looks. My main concern with a Mario movie would be seeing the sterilization of the IP bleed into it, everything needing to be squeaky clean and on brand. But not gonna lie, I think hearing the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and the newest ad for it just completely shattered my worries. Will it be good? Who knows. As the resident Sonic movie hater, I can tell you my tolerance for cliché kid movie tropes is, small. But at least it seems like it's trying to be a bit more lively than the mainline games. Because while Mario did break its sterile mold with games like Odyssey and Origami King more recently, there's an underlying feeling of branding in Mario's image as of late. Seeing the toys and the theme park and just kind of the vibe all around, it's starting to feel very, Mickey Mouse. But there was a time when the Mario IP was a little bit more flexible, I feel. In the early 2000s, Nintendo was kind of going apeshit with the plumber. Luigi's Mansion was a launch title on the GameCube and was a total 180 from anything anyone was expecting at the time. And from there, it just kind of went hog wild. The GameCube/GBA/DS era had a ton of weird shit. Mario Striker's gritty and aggressive art style, Princess Peach got her own game, the Mario basketball game had fucking Final Fantasy characters in it, and the mainline Mario game of that generation, Mario Sunshine, had voice acting. Bowser talked.
Mario! How dare you disturb my family vacation?
It was weird. But I think everyone kinda loved it. While strange, it was always really unique and charming. You never knew what to expect from him, but you always knew it would put a smile on your face. And I don't think any spin-off of this dude expresses this philosophy more than the Mario RPGs. I mean, I don't think I even need to tell you this, but these are the de facto unique Mario experiences everyone will point to when it comes to that description. Mario RPG had a ton of unique things going on, and Paper Mario after it was also very unique and weird. But Superstar Saga, the technically third Mario RPG, took the wacky and unique cake. This game is, bar none, the most creative take on this IP. In my opinion, at least. Okay, maybe not. That might depend on your definition of creative. Either way, I want to gush about this game because holy moly, it does not have the gushing accolades the other Mario RPGs have. I'm not even going to say that this game is underrated or overlooked, but I do feel it's kind of the unsung hero of the Mario IP. And fair warning, I will be spoiling a bit about this 20-year-old game. Not anything too crazy, but part of the game's charm is its insane amount of unique surprises. If you somehow missed out on this game and you're itching for something fresh in the Mario series, it's on Switch Online, or you can probably run like MGBA on your TI-83 calculator. It's worth playing, trust me.
Nintendo!
So Superstar Saga was developed by Alpha Dream, a team of X-Square developers who I swear have some of the coolest brains in the industry. Their first original game, Tomato Adventures, may be one of the most delightfully weird games I've ever played in my life. It's funny, it's strange, it's expressive, but never a slouch in the gameplay department. While simple, there is some serious thought put into its RPG mechanics. I honestly really recommend checking this out and giving the fan translation a try, especially if you're a fan of the Mario and Luigi games. It's neat to see how this game was sort of a spiritual predecessor to Superstar Saga. Alpha Dream obviously had a ton of creative freedom and artistic vision in their crew. This game oozes genuine personality. Everything feels so human, the writing, the environments, the gameplay ideas. It's all just these developers having a ton of fun making a game they want to share with the world. And of course, so much of Tomato Adventures' energy is felt in Superstar Saga as a result. I'm amazed at how well the energy translates to the world and characters of Mario. So let's gush. Superstar Saga's story and setting has to be one of, if not the most unique and vital aspect to this game's creativity. The game starts with Princess Peach being chloroformed, is that a verb? By the ambassador of the Bean Kingdom. You soon learn that this evil bean person actually took Princess Peach's voice and replaced her voice with explosive vocabulary. Oh yeah, Bowser is here too because he's pissed that if he kidnaps Peach, she'll destroy his castle. So Mario and Bowser set off to Bean Kingdom to get her voice back. Oh, and Luigi gets dragged along too because funny circumstances. And you very soon find out that the person who took Peach's voice is an evil witch named Cackletta. And I'm sure you can tell this setup is extremely different for a Mario game. And this is hard to articulate without spoiling story beats, but the pacing of this game's story is just so well done. The Paper Mario games always had a sort of episodic nature to them. I mean, they were literally split into distinct chapters. I always thought of them as little story arcs or episodes of like an anime, very lightly connected through an ongoing story, but having self-contained characters and events in each area. Superstar Saga feels more like one connected story, leading you from place to place very seamlessly. And the way they contextualize the pacing is a ton of fun to experience. It really doesn't go in a direction you can predict, which I love. It adds to the zany nature of the game, but the zaniness doesn't feel like it's just random stuff happening for the sake of a joke. It's all used to further the story. Like one little story beat is Bowser gets shot out of a cannon in the first area of the game after getting the first boss frustrated, and when you find him, he's lost all of his memories. He works under this little rat boy named Popple, and they serve as a sort of Team Rocket foil to your efforts in the game for a while. This plot point is really funny and creative, but it also helps carry the story forward, especially later in the game. It's smart writing. It isn't sacrificing good story because of its wacky humor. It's able to use it to its own advantage. And that is kind of insanely impressive to me, especially for a Mario game. No offense, Mario. It also just has a really good pace in terms of speed. I can't really think of a point that drags on. It has so many cool ideas, and it's able to keep them coming consistently. That rhythm of fresh story beats keeps you totally invested, while helping flesh out the world of this weird foreign kingdom. Oh yeah, the Bean Bean Kingdom itself. A neighboring kingdom to the Mushroom one is something I don't think I've ever seen before this game. Maybe Dinosaur Island was another kingdom, but the Bean Bean Kingdom feels like such a great idea to expand the scope of Mario's world. If there's a Mushroom Kingdom, are there other kingdoms based on grown foods? It opens up the possibilities for so much creativity, and oh man, do they get some use out of it in this game. Every enemy in the game is this kind of wacky off-brand Mushroom Kingdom enemy. Goombas are replaced with beanies, Koopas are replaced with Troopies, Lakitus are replaced with Lakapis, I think you get the idea. The bosses are also insanely fun. A big monster made of soda that's powered by jokes? Yeah, I don't think that was on your bingo card. And speaking of jokes, everything in this world has this laughter theme to it, I assume working off the funny bean idea. Everything in the environments has this weird smiling aesthetic. It's kind of unsettling, but also really charming in a way. It's really unhinged. It's awesome. The areas on the map have names like Hoo Hoo Mountain, Tee Valley, Chucklehuck Woods, and my favorite, the cold, icy, quiet area is called Joke's End. That goes so hard, like goddamn. I don't think I could name another game with a theme like this. This weird joke/laughter motif is super quirky, but feels so well thought out and clever. And while the actual set pieces are basically woods, desert, mountain, etc., you'd never blink an eye at it because of this creative angle on everything. The slightly tropey settings end up feeling so organically baked into the world because of this consistent theming. And along with that, you get some original stuff like an airport, a haunted university, and a personal favorite of mine, a Chinatown equivalent called Little Fungi Town, where immigrants from the Mushroom Kingdom live. Like, what the fuck? That is so creative and fun. There's also this sense that the devs had a huge respect for the weirder parts of Mario's legacy. There's this entire area based on the arcade Mario Bros. Game, and even have the viruses from Dr. Mario as an enemy at one point. And of course, each area is just populated with the most charming cast of NPCs. I almost always exhaust the dialogue in this game because everything is so much fun to read. The supporting cast is really strong too. Prince Peasley is my favorite. His animations and obvious sexual tension with Luigi is just so good. I love the ongoing joke of existing red and green themed siblings that teach you all your special moves. It's like alternate universe Mario and Luigi's. And the villains and bosses are also super memorable. This world is just populated so well. The setting is a huge part of this game's appeal to me. It feels like it's this simple thing that is desperately missing from the mainline Mario games. Again, Odyssey being an exception, I feel we haven't gotten a genuinely new world to explore since like Sunshine in the mainline games. Every creative setting Mario has gotten in the mainline games feels sorta circumstantial or based on an existing world idea. And I know Superstar Saga isn't mainline, but it has about 2 million notes I feel Nintendo should take for their mainline Mario games, which they kinda did in Odyssey, but obviously single levels won't be as realized as an entire RPG world. And this isn't just conjecture or pointless praise. When I was a kid, Superstar Saga's world was fucking engrossing, man. I would just hang out in this world, explore areas I'd been because I just wanted to go back there. I don't know how many games I've played where I would take scenic walks around areas of the map I've already explored. It felt like a real living world. Yes, the game with an area called Tiki Valley has superior world building than Elden Ring, that is what I'm saying. The amazing setting this game has makes it so memorable as a result. As much as I love the Paper Mario games, I feel Superstar Saga has a leg up in terms of setting. And if I'm comparing the settings between the other Mario & Luigi games, Superstar Saga reigns supreme by a big margin in my opinion. And I haven't even mentioned the game functionally. Again, love Paper Mario to death, but I kind of feel Superstar Saga has way superior combat. It's both got more going on and less going on at the same time. The thing about Paper Mario's combat that always kind of bugs me is it has this sense of puzzle solving with each of its fights because of the simplicity of the RPG mechanics and the simplicity of the numbers. Everything could be planned out before you even approached an enemy. Nothing was left up to chance, really. But the game never challenged you enough to make you feel you were planning strategically. Superstar Saga is way less deliberate with its combat, but a lot more challenging and interactive. The biggest change is you don't guard attacks like you do in Paper Mario, you dodge or counter them with well-timed hammers or jumps. And every single attack from every enemy in the game has a different method of dodging with both Mario and Luigi separately, using the A button for Mario and the B button for Luigi. It keeps you constantly on your toes. The game really does expect you to not take damage during an enemy's turn, meaning attacks hurt in this game. It's still not, like, insanely hard, but as a kid, this game was a triumph to beat. I felt I had to learn the enemy/boss inside and out to truly best them. Some bosses took me months to beat, but man, did it feel good when I did. I love how the bosses violently shake and explode into a bunch of fireworks when you beat them. It's so extra, but so satisfying. There's a lot of thought that went into having the duo party member system in this game too, really leaning into the whole tag team duo feel of these brothers fighting together. If a bro goes down, the other one picks them up and helps them dodge upcoming attacks, making it way harder to time your dodges. So reviving is not only vital to getting evenly dispersed XP, but also keeping the other brother alive at all. The bros moves are your special moves, done with a combination of inputs that feel just so motherfucking good to pull off. Each special move even has 3 different options to choose, making it easier but costing more mana. A really smart idea for such a unique RPG mechanic. And oh my god, there are these hidden advanced versions of bros moves that have you inputting different commands during a normal bros move. They have way more potential for damage, but they don't really explain them to you. So it takes a lot of trial and error to learn and master, and it's just so cool. It's so much fun and so interactive for an RPG, one of the coolest ideas this game has in my opinion. It sucks they never bring anything like this back. They even dumbed it down in the remake, but I'll get to that guy later. And even beyond the combat, the overworld is just super interactive too. Utilizing different combination of moves depending on which bro is following who, it's so neat. It's contextually really smart too. Rather than having some long list of moves you can do, having a way to do them logically makes it so much easier to memorize. Want to get over this wall? Have Luigi jump on Mario's head to get a high jump. If you want to get under this gate, hit Luigi into the ground with Mario's hammer. So many puzzles require Mario and Luigi to separate and handle tasks solo too. It's such a fun idea and they get so much great use out of it. But it also feels ripe for infinite possibilities. It was one of the biggest letdowns with the later Mario and Luigi games. The position-changing mechanic was never really used again. It was kinda remixed in later games, arguably, but I just never felt it was as well realized as it was in Superstar Saga. With all this environmental puzzle solving, these RPG dungeons feel closer to Zelda dungeons at times. Also, this game gave Luigi electricity instead of fire powers, which is just the coolest idea any Mario game has ever had, and it's a literal crime it was never utilized again. It's no slouch in the RPG department either. Items, equipment, side quests, there's plenty to do, and it feels really rewarding to see everything in the game. So yeah, game is good. Can you tell? I think the later Mario & Luigi games are pretty good as well. Bowser's Inside Story specifically is excellent, but I always felt Superstar Saga had the best ideas and utilized those ideas in the most effective ways. It's also like the perfect length. It doesn't overstay its welcome and feels like a very satisfying experience to the end. A badge other Mario & Luigi games cannot wear. Dream Team. Oh yeah, it's also really funny. Like, the writing is a big part of it, but the localization is so good in this game. For the time, the fact that they were able to capture its zany, for lack of better terms, very Japanese humor so naturally is impressive stuff. Beyond its kinda wacky and XD random vibes this game has at times, there are genuine jokes in this game. Ongoing gags, setups with punchlines, not just charming, but funny. Actually funny. And it also looks really nice. I'm obviously biased because I grew up with this game and it's influenced my art more than like any other piece of media out there, but just look at it. This is some of the most amazing pixel art and it's so well stylized. Mario and Luigi's sprites specifically, these might be the most iconic part of the game for good reason. They're probably my favorite looking Mario sprites ever. Yeah, ever. And they just have so many animations. I love how every Bros move has a specific sequence of animation for if you fail any step of that Bros move. It's kind of insane when you think about it. What was with the GBA and having just drop-dead gorgeous games? What a cool console. The promotional art for this game is just perfect too. I adore the way this game's art looks. I love all the little details, like they gave Luigi these striped socks. It goes such a long way in creating some personality. And surprise, it sounds really good too. The music is by the GOAT herself, Yoko Shimomura. This soundtrack goes so hard, but always has a distinct feeling. Every area is accompanied by just a perfectly fitting track. I personally love the moody atmosphere of Joke's End. Or the beach vibes of Oho Ocean. God, I love this OST, man. Superstar Saga is a game that I do feel gets plenty of praise, but I still don't really think it gets enough, you know? Like, it has a legacy, but it isn't usually talked about with the Mario greats like 64, Odyssey, Paper Mario, etc. But this deserves it. This is literally one of the best Mario games I've ever played. And I've played a lot of stupid plumber games. As much as I'd like to say it's all personal childhood bias, it's not like I didn't grow up with the other Mario games. This one just always stuck in my consciousness. It's also my go-to example of a Mario game that does basically everything I want a Mario game to do. I love to see this IP utilize itself in creative and smart ways, and I don't think something better exemplifies that like Superstar Saga does. I feel the conversation about Mario's sterile identity comes up super often, but when comparing good to bad, I feel Superstar Saga is kind of unfortunately forgotten about. I don't think I can name a Mario game with more creative energy. It's a game that I hope inspired the creative energy I see in Mario Odyssey or the Mario movie. It's a hugely important piece of this IP's history, in my opinion. So what do I think of the remake, though? Because I know that will inevitably be asked many times. The remake is okay, but it kinda truly is a bimbofication of this game. The visuals are really nice, and I liked the baked lighting over the pixel art, but a lot of the more insanely cartoony energy to the visuals were really toned down. And there are some gameplay tweaks that kill some of my favorite aspects of this game. You know the advanced moves and how cool it felt to learn them organically during fights? Yeah, well, they made it just another move in your list that costs a bit more to use. Great. The really fun and natural way it was to use the Bros moves in the overworld? Well, they just made it a big list of moves on your touchscreen. Wonderful. But at the end of the day, it is Superstar Saga, and it was a fun way to experience one of my all-time favorite games with a new coat of paint, but would not recommend if you're looking for the Superstar Saga experience. They also censored Luigi's socks in the promotional art? What the actual fuck? This is the perfect example of the sterilization I mentioned earlier. Leave his socks alone, Nintendo. And what about the rest of the games in the series? Because I'm sure that will be asked as well. I'll make this quick. Partners in Time is good. I think the story is fun, but the babies are pretty poorly utilized during combat, and the item-based Bros moves are a really stupid idea. Bowser's Inside Story is really good, taking ideas from Partners in Time and making them a lot better. The story is fun and creative, but the environments aren't too memorable. Also, wasn't a fan of the big Bowser fights. Dream Team is almost good, but has way too much holding it back. The gyro controls are obnoxious, it's way too long, and it's really weirdly unforgiving at times. And Paper Jam sucks a whole lot of ass. There's so much wrong with that game. And while most of these are decent to good, I do feel the series kind of lost its way a bit as it went on. New clever ideas kind of got lost in the shuffle of a slew of gimmicks, and the combat always felt a lot less thought out. The story and characters stayed decently consistent, but took a hard nosedive with Paper Jam. That game was one of the biggest disappointments in my gaming life, I swear. It's unfortunate that Alpha Dream was seemingly going back to see what made those earlier Mario and Luigi games work with the remakes, but just killed their chances at making another in the process. Or maybe it was Nintendo pushing them into bankruptcy, who knows. Growing up with Superstar Saga was a huge boon on my creative upbringing. I always put Paper Mario on a pedestal when thinking about my childhood inspirations, but even I feel I don't give this game enough credit. I even still own the original box and manual, signed by the Mr. Martinet himself, which is a huge honor because his voice lines are such an iconic aspect of this game. Look, it says Super Richie. That's me. This game is just dripping with that decadent creative juice that a kid absorbs like a vacuum. And to this day, whenever I replay it, I'm immediately reminded on why I love it so much. It's the gold standard on how much character and personality could be juiced out of this IP. There's so much potential in the world of Super Mario, and Superstar Saga is utilizing that creative potential and turning it up to 11. If you haven't played this game, please just go do that. Like, how have I not convinced you at this point? Should I keep going? I can keep going, you know. Or let me know of a game that oozes those creative juices like this game does. I'd love to hear examples of other pieces of media that spread that creative juice all, Okay, I'll stop. This is getting weird.